Hello neighbor, this is Curt with etrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Thule Edge roof rack, and we're going to see how it works with and how it installs on our 2024 Nissan Rogue. Now, a roof rack is an excellent way to transport that cargo that's either too big to fit or you don't want fitting in with you inside the vehicle during your travels. Things like rooftop cargo boxes and cargo baskets, kayak carrier, bike carrier, any number of things that you could use as a rooftop accessory. The Thule Edge is what they call a flush-mounted roof rack, meaning that the crossbars end inside of the towers rather than overhanging. And on a vehicle like the Rogue, that's a look I really don't mind. A lot of people like it because it has kind of a cleaner, more OEM look. And on a vehicle of this height where it's not too tall and it's not too wide, I don't mind putting like one accessory up here that I can reach to easily from both sides. An overhanging bar gives you more bar space. It gives you the opportunity to stack things side by side, but we don't have a very big vehicle to begin with, and you always want to double check your rooftop capacity in your owner's manual. This crossbar set is going to give you a 165-pound capacity. However, if your rooftop weight capacity for the vehicle itself does not exceed that, you're going to have to go with that lower number. But with all that being said, this is going to work great with any of your clamp mounted or your T-track accessories. It is an arrow style bar, meaning it has kind of an oval or a blade shape. This is a much quieter style of bar than you're going to get with a round or a square bar. But with all that being said, let's get up there with a measuring tape and take a look and see how it fits on the top of our Rogue. Now, during installation, Thule is very specific about where these crossbars go on your roof, so we don't really have an opportunity to change the way that it fits up here. But the first thing I want to take a look at is, what is our crossbar spread? The crossbar spread is going to be the distance center to center of your two bars, and you're going to need to know that because every rooftop accessory out there is going to have a minimum and a maximum crossbar spread. So we definitely want to understand exactly what that number is. And the number we have for it, if I'm going center of T-track to center of T-track, we're right at 28 3/8. And that's a really good place to be. Most rooftop accessories are going to require between 25 and 35 inches. So being close to the middle of that makes me feel pretty good that most rooftop accessories are going to work with it. The other thing that I do want to take a look at as well is, how much height is this adding to the vehicle? And if I'm going center of the bar, we're at 3 3/4 inches from the roof to the top of the bar. So however tall your rooftop accessory is, add that number to it and get your overall vehicle height. That way you can understand what your roof clearance is. From underneath the bar, we've got 2 1/2 inches of clearance, which should be more than enough for your clamp mounted accessories to get around underneath and clamp on to your bars. Now, I had mentioned earlier specific placement of our bars according to the instructions. So stick around, we're going to show you exactly how we got these on the roof of our Nissan Rogue. So to begin our installation process, we have already installed our front bar. The front bar is the 41-inch bar, the longer bar. Your back bar, which is what we're going to show you how to install here, is going to be your 37.5-inch bar. Now, the installation process is really the same on both of them. However, there are some measurements that are going to be a little bit different, and some of the part numbers are going to be a little bit different as well. So we're going to start by building our towers. Now, be very careful because these are side specific. We've got it laid out with the bar with the wider end facing forward, narrower end facing back, as if this was the front of the vehicle. So this wider part here, this is going to be our passenger side, because we want this excess or this narrower part to be on the thinner part, the blade part of our crossbar. And then this would be our driver's side. So in your fit kit, you're going to have these clamps. And if you look at your instructions, our back bar is going to use the clamps that are stamped 340. The front bar is going to be stamped 590. So that's how you determine which clamps go where. And then our foot pads are all going to be stamped as well. So for the back bar on our passenger side, it's stamped 825. And on the driver's side, it's going to be stamped 824. So we're going to start on the passenger side. So I've got 825. And all we're going to do is kind of fit it around this plastic pad here. Just easiest way to do it, I think, is to kind of work your way around the edges to get it on there. And once that's in place, we're going to go ahead and take our clamp, again, being the back bar, this is marked 340, and we're going to insert it right into this slot here and push on it till we hear a click, just like that. Now that's locked into place and our tower assembly is complete. We're going to do the same process on the other side. So with our towers assembled, we're going to go ahead and prep the bar. We're going to take our weather stripping here, and the first thing you need to do is actually tear it in half and split it. Once we do that, we'll have two different edges. One has these arrows indicated. These are going to go on the front section pointed forward. So we're just going to tuck this strip into this slot right here. We'll start down on this end and just work it on, just a little bit at a time. Make sure it goes in there flush and do that all the way to the end. And once that front part of the weather strip is in place, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the back part. Now, one of the things you may notice is that there is a little excess on the end of it. You could feel free to trim that off with a pair of scissors if you want. But being this is a flush bar, you don't necessarily have to. Any of that excess is going to be tucked away inside the tower. But we're just going to work this down the same way until it's all the way in. And now we're going to go ahead and attach our towers onto the bar. And to do that, we're going to again make sure it's facing the right way. The thin or the blade side of it has this wider side on the tower. And we're just going to insert that into the end just like so. And then it's going to get stopped by this metal block. We just want to depress that and slide it into place. We're going to hear a click when it locks in, and now this side is locked in. We're going to do the same thing on our driver's side. Now at the top of our tower here, you're going to see a bunch of hashes, and they're going to be alphabetically labeled A through U. Now check your instructions. We're working on the back bar right now, and the back bar is telling us that we need to shorten our bar down to where the B hash is. Our front bar was looking for J, but being the back bar, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our towers in together until this hash labeled B lines up with the edge of our crossbar. And to do that, we're going to take our provided Thule tool, and we're going to go through this bolt right here, and we're going to tighten it down. Now, this has a block inside that's going to compress this together, and it's going to bring our tower in closer to the edge of the bar, and we're going to stop it when it gets to that hash marked B. Now, as far as where the crossbars need to go on the roof, there is a reason why we installed the front bar first. The front bar, if you look at your instructions, they ask that the front edge of this be located 14 1/8 inch from the corner of our rooftop right here. So we've got this in place right where we wanted, and we did double check both sides to make sure it was the same measurement and make sure that our bar is perpendicular to our roof. The placement of the second bar depends on the placement of the first bar. So the placement of the second bar, according to the instructions, if we measure from the front of our front crossbar to the front of our back crossbar, we want to have 28 3/8 inches. So we're going to go ahead and just measure that out really quick, just to kind of get in the neighborhood of where we need to be. So the front of my second bar should be somewhere right in this neighborhood. I'm going to go ahead and grab our back crossbar, and I'm going to set it on our roof in this general vicinity. So now that we've got it in place, we should have our clamps just coming down over the door, the top of the door threshold here on the inside. So it should be kind of wrapped underneath that. If you need to get a little more length out of it, you can use your Thule tool and loosen the bolt located right in here, and that'll give you a bit more length to your clamp if you need it. We should also take a look at our foot pad and make sure that it's generally kind of conforming to the edge of the roof there. Now that'll get a more snug fit as we tighten our clamps down, but we just want to make sure and double check the spread of our towers on that, just to make sure it's sitting in the right place. And with everything looking good, I'm going to go ahead and take the included Thule tool, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten through this bolt right here. And as I do this, the clamp is going to shorten and tighten around the top of our door frame here. Now I'm going to start by just getting this snug. I don't want to tighten one side down completely and then go to the other side, because in all likelihood, as you do that, this is going to pull against the other side and it might knock it out of place. If I get it just snug to where there's not really any slack, you know, with it dangling down below the top of that door, I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing, and I'm going to incrementally tighten this down back and forth until we get it all the way. All right. And this Thule tool is a torquing tool. So once you get it really tight on both sides to where it's not really shifting around any, go ahead and get it tightened down. You're going to hear a loud pop like that. That indicates that we've tightened it down to spec and we're ready to continue. And the last step to the installation is to place on our tower covers. However, before I do, I wanted to talk to you really quick about Thule's one key system. When you buy this roof rack kit, you're going to end up with these plastic lock cores that you can lock and unlock using something as simple as a flathead screwdriver. Thule offers what they call their one key system, which allows you to buy metal lock cores and keys, and you do have the opportunity to get them all keyed alike. So not only can you buy a set of 4 of them keyed alike for each of our towers, we could also get them keyed alike to any of our other Thule accessories. But to put this on, it's going to be very simple. We're just going to kind of slide it into place until it clicks. And once we've got it on and in position, we'll take our flathead screwdriver and we'll go ahead and lock it. Now our installation is complete. We just give it a nice shake test, make sure that nothing is coming loose, but everything is good and snug on here. Nothing's loose, everything's in place, everything is measured out right, so we've got the right spread. We're ready to load up our crossbars and hit the road. So with everything I covered, I think the Thule Edge is an excellent choice for the Nissan Rogue. I really like the way that Thule installs. It's very a simple process compared to some of the other crossbar manufacturers out there. And I also like that they put a lot of their fit kit into the shape of that rubber pad underneath. That really helps to contour correctly to the rooftop and helps keep our bars even when they're on top of the car. But it's also a very good looking set of crossbars on here, being the flush style. And again, with this vehicle height and width, I don't mind having all my accessories kind of more to the center of the vehicle. But if you decide that the Thule Edge is the set of crossbars for you and your Nissan Rogue, and you get them, install them, and get to use them a few times, please share what you think about them in the comments below. We would love to share your experience with our other neighbors so they can make the best decision for themselves. Once again, this is Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.